Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're back out on the training pitch and I've got a winger specific training session for you. But before we get into that session, just want to let you know that today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. From marketing tools to websites and analytics, Squarespace is really the one place that you can use to build your online presence and manage your business. So I really appreciate the continued support here on the channel, but let's have a quick chat about today's session. So it's going to be winger specific, as we already mentioned. So I've got 3 drills that we're going to be working on today with a few varieties of each one. It will make a lot more sense once we get into it. But we're going to start today's session just with some SAQ to get everything fired up. But even if you're not a winger, you can still apply these drills into your training sessions and get a lot of benefit out of them. We're working on a lot of technique today, so it's going to benefit you whatever position you play. But let's get right into the SAQ.
So I began the training session off camera with my normal dynamic warm-up that I show in pretty much every individual training session. Just some jogs back and forth, some dynamic stretches, and then some activation work with the resistance band. And then I went into some SAQ, so this very simple exercise here, just doing some fast feet at the beginning, going through the cones, some lateral shuffles, and then out to the cones with some change of direction, getting low around those corners. But I would recommend incorporating SAQ into your training sessions 2 to 3 times per week. It's really going to help you with your speed because it activates those fast twitch muscle fibers, but it's also going to help you with your foot coordination. The more coordinated you are with your feet, it's just going to improve your performance overall. So I believe all players should be doing SAQ 2 to 3 times per week minimum. Very simple activity here, incorporating a lot of different footwork patterns and also some change of direction in a very short amount of time. So I just did 4 repetitions with this one. As you can see, after the first 2 exercises, I changed up the footwork pattern at the beginning. Then after the SAQ, I went right into a first touch exercise. So there's 3 different varieties of first touches I was working on that are very specific for wingers. The first touch here is opening up the body and pushing the ball down the line. If you can receive the ball but get it on the move in your first touch, it's going to make you a lot more efficient. Rather than getting the ball under control, looking in the direction you want to take the ball and then taking a second touch, if you can do it all in one movement, you're just going to get on the move a lot quicker. And as you progress up the ladder in football, the one thing you'll notice is you get a lot less time on the ball the higher level you play. So each second really counts. So if you can find ways to minimize the time between getting the ball under control and on the move, it's just going to make you a more effective player. So as you can see, just letting it come to my back foot, opening up, and turning my hips in the direction I want to go and pushing the ball with my first touch. Then I went on to a give and go, so basically playing a 1-2 with the bench. If you don't have access to a bench, you can use a teammate for this one. So you're just playing the ball at the bench, continuing your run, and because you play the ball at an angle, you also get the ball returned to you at an angle. And then I'm just trying to take the first touch in my stride. Once again, trying to take the ball as efficiently as I can, so getting on the move with my first touch instead of getting it under control and then taking a second touch to get it on the move. This is a classic first touch for a winger as well. If you're receiving a ball from your central midfielder or you play a 1-2 around the fullback, this is a great one for working on that situation. And then the final first touch I worked on was just turning on the ball. Once again, as a winger, you will be turning on the ball if you possibly can, because that's just going to help you start accelerating up the line. So this is a classic one for the right hand side, so just playing the ball into the bench. Once again, if you don't have a bench, use a teammate. This is a great touch for wingers. You're taking 1 touch to stop the ball, which stops the defender. Then your second touch is with the outside of that same foot, and you pivot on your standing foot to accelerate up the line in one fluid action. So that was reenacting being a right winger, but I'm also doing some on the left side as well. So all I did was put the bench on the opposite side, so now I've become a left winger, because as a winger you do want to get comfortable being on both sides. There will be times in a match where your coach might switch your wingers, but you also want to make sure you have good confidence with both feet, being able to control the ball on both sides. So that's why for all of these drills I did an equal amount on my left and right foot. Then I went into my crossing series. So the first situation I'm in here is just a dead ball. So the ball isn't moving whatsoever. And I'm aiming for the square that I've placed in the middle of the box, more towards the back post. I've placed that goal there just to catch the balls, but what I'm really aiming for is right in the center of that box I've created with the cones. The distance between the cones is 7 steps between each one, but the box is just there to provide a target to aim for. You always want to have a target to aim for when you're putting your crosses in, not just hitting and hoping, but this is a very dangerous area that's going to provide a lot of problems for the opposition. So it's right between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. Usually it's just slightly too far for the goalkeeper to come out and catch it, and it's also in swinging with a bit of bend, so it's a lot easier for your strikers to get on the end of it, and it's usually close enough that they're going to cause problems for the goalkeeper if they get a shot on target. So always give yourself a specific area to aim for if you're not able to train with other players, and I would recommend doing a few reps with stationary footballs rather than getting the ball on the move straight away, just to get your technique right and then get the ball on the move, because in a match, unless you're taking a free kick or you're not being pressured very quickly by the defender, chances are you're going to need the ball on the move to get the delivery in. So then I'd just like to take the first touch out of my feet, so I use the rebounder once again. It's just a bench flipped on its side. Take that first touch out of my feet 90 degrees, quick glance up to pick out my target, and then I'm whipping the ball into the box once again. If you don't have a rebounder, use a teammate to pass it into your feet. Try and take one touch out of your feet, and then with your next touch, deliver the ball into the box. It's all about being efficient with your touches. Then the final variation of it, I'm using a 1v1 situation just to add a bit of variety to my crossing. So instead of just touching the ball out of my feet, I'm going at the imaginary defender, just pushing the ball beyond them, and then with my next touch after I've accelerated, I'm then whipping the ball into the box once again. For this round, I worked on some lower crosses just to vary up my crosses as well. The match will dictate what type of cross you'll need to choose in the moment, whether it needs to be a back post cross, a front post cross, whether it needs to be in the air or on the ground. But it's just good to work on a few different techniques in your training sessions so that you're better equipped for every scenario you might encounter during a match. So definitely work on these 3 types of crossing exercises. Start with stationary balls so that you can work on that technique only. Then move into a moving ball, getting the first touch out of your feet and delivering it nice and early. And also work on crossing after you've dribbled the ball as well, because as a winger, you're going to typically be in all of these situations at one point. So it's good to equip yourself for it. Then I went into some winger specific shooting scenarios. So the first one here is just a simple 1v1, pushing it to my right, and then I'm shooting across goal. When you're shooting from an angle, you either want to go low across goal or you want to go high to the near post. But this is a typical situation wingers are in. They go one-on-one with the fullback if the ball's been switched really quickly, and you're isolated 1v1 with the defender, and you've only got a goalie and a goalpost on the opposite side of that defender. So it's good to take that risk and try and get a shot off for your team. The modern day winger is expected to get crosses, but also expected to get goals as well. So you want to be working on your finishing as often as you can. So that's the first variety of finishing I worked on. Then I moved into a very simple combination play with the bench. So this is reenacting like I'm playing the ball into my striker's feet. Then I continue my run so that they lay the ball into the space. Then I'm taking the ball in my stride with my first touch. Then once again providing that same finish across goal. Just to recap, you either want to shoot across goal or high into the near post. Those are the 2 most difficult places for the goalies to save from an angle. But I can't stress enough how vital it is to be able to take the ball in your stride with your first touch. It honestly saves so much time. I see a lot of players wanting to get the ball under full control and then take the ball into the space, but you're just adding 1 or 2 seconds, and in the flow of a match that is such a long time and the opportunity might be lost. So once you play that ball, move into the new space and then take that ball in your stride. You're setting up your shot with your first touch. So you're already planning ahead what you're going to be doing. Once you've got beyond that defender and you're receiving the ball on the opposite side, you want to push that ball into the space so that you're providing yourself with a little bit of runway so you can prepare your run up, get that shot off with good clean technique. That's the key. Really work on that first touch in a variety of ways, but especially as a winger, getting the ball out of your feet and pushing it in the direction you want to go with your first touch is going to save you a lot of time. Typically as a winger, you're going to be fast or fit, so you want to be able to open your legs up as quickly as possible. So having the ball close to your feet isn't going to be beneficial with your first touch. It might be in certain situations, but there's a lot of scenarios where you can push the ball out of your feet, so it's great to work that in your training as well. And then the third and final variation of the shooting exercise is cutting in and shooting. A modern day winger is expected to be able to cut inside and bend the ball far post. And I'm a typical right winger, so that means I'm going to be cutting in onto my left foot, which is my weak foot. So I need to make sure I'm working on it enough so that if I have the opportunity to cut inside, I can at least hit the target with my left foot. My goal is to try and get it as close to the side netting as possible, so going for both bottom corners and top corners, but trying to hit it across goal. That far post is going to be the most dangerous and the most difficult for the goalie to save from this angle, because typically the goalie tries to stay in line with the ball, so they're going to be more to the right hand side of the goal if you're looking at it, which means that far post is going to be uncovered and the most likely area for you to score if you aim for that side. So I went through 3 rounds of each of these finishing situations just to get a few reps in. So as you can see, today was all about technique. There's a little bit of explosiveness, accelerating away from the cones, but as a whole it's mainly working on technical stuff. So this is great for wingers who are looking to improve the technical side of their game. You can really focus on those different aspects that you're going to be required to incorporate into your game as a winger: your crossing, your first touch, and also your finishing. So just a few drills here, very simple. You can do a lot of these without much equipment needed, and it's just going to put you in those situations you'll find yourself in a match, so that when it comes to a match, you've already felt rehearsed in the scenario. You're going to feel a lot more comfortable and be able to execute more effectively. So just got done with the session, just a few drills there that you can work on, especially if you're a winger, but even if you're not a winger, these are still going to benefit your game. So give those a go and try out the different variations if you can as well. You can obviously implement a teammate if you don't have access to a bench or a rebounder, but just some simple technique work today. I did a leg session at the gym this morning, so I'm not looking to do too much on the legs, not much explosive work during that session, but just a lot of technical touches that's really going to help me and put myself in those situations that I'm going to find myself in during a match. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Before I go, another huge thank you to Squarespace for their continued support here on the channel. Squarespace is where I built 7mlctraining.com, and it's become the central hub of my brand. You can access my YouTube channel, you can get to my podcast, my training programs, my Instagram. So it's really been a game changer for my brand. It's taken it to the next level, and I know it'll help you if you have an online brand or a business. So check out Squarespace, and if you use my link www.squarespace.com/7mlc, you can get 10% off your first website. Couldn't recommend them enough. They help you build a professional looking website. You don't need to know anything about coding or web design, so check out that link in the description box below. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button for weekly training videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.